Hello and welcome everyone to to Darkness Descending presents the North American Amateur Starcraft League, season number 1, week number 5, game number 2 between Thanor, the light blue Protoss, and Zoure, the purple Protoss. Where we're looking at Scrap Station, which is a relatively shorter map, but in particular it's known for its air pushes because of that short distance between between the two bases. It's really easy to put up some air units over here, and then they have a very short run to get to the opponent's base. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Looks like Thanor here is going for some sort of rush. Same, and actually Zoure actually is either. It looks like, well, he's probably just scouting. So this is more of a scouting timing for Zoure. But I think Thanor right here is looking to get some sort of rush. Now you notice they put down a pylon, which honestly I think is more of a diversionary tactic. The problem is that if you put a pylon down here, it takes a long time for you to get to a pylon and then a gateway on your proxy area. So it looks like both players, in fact, because Zoure has actually not made a gateway or forge or something either, and look, he's making a pylon right outside the base. So the reason why you do this, of course, why you do this on the outside edge, is because if the mineral gatherers want to kill it, they have to come all the way down, and if you put units up here, if they want to kill the pylon and then kill the other building, they have another long trip around here to get back to the building. In any case, so Thanor is looking like he is going to be going for the proxy gateway push. So he's got his gateway building here. We have our forge here, so it's the battle of rushes. So we do have a gateway up in Zoure's base. Now, that one thing that's important to note is that it is kind of funny when both players are rushing. They don't scout that all that much. So if you look at the view from Thanor's point of view, he doesn't know that really. He doesn't know that really Zoure doesn't really have much over here, and same thing on the other side of the flip side of the coin. Zoure really doesn't know that Thanor doesn't really have much to speak of over here. So both players are kind of fighting a little blind. This right here would tell me that if they only have one gateway that's currently building, that is definitely going to be a rush, and you should be cannoning up and blocking off right here immediately. The downside with cannon rushing is that of course you can't really recover from it if there's zealots in your base, unless you block it. If you block and you have zealots in and zealots come at you, then those cannons will tear up the zealots. But if you try to do but if you fail in your cannon rush and they have zealots, then that's usually the game over. So here we go. It looks like Thanor is pushing with his 3 zealots. He probably did see that cannon, or if he doesn't, he just sees it now. Thanor is just going to go drop that pylon so that Zoure is not going to be able to mix any zealots of his own. Now it's a race against time. So Zoure is really not looking in a good position because he's not going to be able to push up in time to make any sort of problems for Thanor's and his mineral gatherers. And in the meantime, Thanor is really just kind of taken down that economy. There's really not much he can do about it at this point. I think he's bringing his probes down to try to help kill this base, but as you can see, he does not have enough minerals to make a new nexus. So this is really a bad spot for Zoure. I don't know if he's going to be able to recover from this. Thanor is actually using some probes to kill off a new cannon, which is not in range. See, that's at the very edge of this cannon's range. If he puts it right here, however, then it'll be safe. But again, he's just not at this point. If you look at Thanor, he can make another base. He has cannons up his own, so when he makes that new base, he's going to be able to put cannons up to protect it. In the meantime, he's still building zealots. So this is looking really bad for Zoure. I don't know how he's going to be able to recover from this, or if he will be able to recover from this at all. Zoure did go back to try to get some minerals, but now there's just a massive Zealot army in his base, and they're going to go straight for that Nexus to kind of clinch this win. So Zoure must be Zoure must be a little bit angry at this scenario, so he's going to use those attack probes to try to make something happen, and it just did not happen. I think at this point Zoure's not aware, or not sure rather, if Thanor is able to, if he's going to be able to recover either, so he's just going to use his probes, hopefully I think at this point to try to force some sort of tie, but as we unfortunately know, that's really just not going to be the case. The Nexus is already up, he has a lot of minerals, more importantly he has a ton of Zealots, so even if Zoure had enough money to cannon that new base, it's just not going to be effective. So you see how those probes going to kill Thanor's probes in a desperate attempt to break his base before all of his units get lost. But as you can see, it's just not going to be. There's just no recovery from this at this point. Thanor just has too many units, and we're just gonna wait and see what happens. See if Zoure is able to drop those the rest of Thanor's main base. But I guess seeing as we have a little bit of time before those good games go out, I would like to mention that proxy gateways will beat proxy cannons every time, unless you've made really bad scouting decisions and those cannons come up on top of your base, in range of your base, on the first go round. Then at that point, you know, cannons will win, but almost every time, if there's a Zealot rush versus a cannon rush, the Zealots will win. Probes can relatively easily kill 1 or even 2 Zealots, but once you get up to 3 Zealots, they will just tear through your probes like no other, simply because you can't micro them fast enough. With 1 or even 2 Zealots, you can have all your probes attack and they'll surround, and then as those probes get damaged, on the second hit, you can move the probe away, and that probe will survive to mine another day. But as I said, with 3, you're just not going to be able to micro them effectively. Now, with this number of Zealots, clearly these probes are not going to have a whole lot of effectiveness. So bear that in mind if you are going to go with some sort of cannon rush. You need to scout at least a little bit. Like after you get that first cannon building, you need to scout immediately to see what the other player has. If they don't have a decent sized base going in their main, they are rushing you, and you need to put some cannons up in your own base and block your own base in. But there's that good game, and that was a really funny juxtaposition where we had one rusher over here and one rusher over here. Good game, guys. I'm looking forward to game number 3. As always, if you like these videos, please subscribe and rate.